Today I want to talk about a few things. Firstly, a little bit about me, because that seems to be the way these things work. And then, what is a clinical hypnotherapist? And then finally, we'll talk a bit about how hypnotherapy works, how hypnosis works, and maybe even have a few little demonstrations towards the end. I'll teach you all how to be hypnotherapists and put myself out of a job. Does that sound good? All right. So, I was born in 1962, grew up in a very isolated place down south. And because of that, I really grew into a bit of an introvert. So I loved talking to computers. And so I naturally went into the computer field and became an IT guy. I programmed financial systems, bond option analysis, and bond and option, and stock pricing graphs, and worked for Reuters. A lot of the time I worked in Japan. I learnt the Japanese language, and I translated programs from English into Japanese over there. I came back to Australia and continued working in that field for a little while. However, my arthritis started getting a little bit too bad, and I just didn't want to sit in front of a computer all day. So I had a break. I did a little bit of options trading at home and made a little bit of money. But I was going to various seminars, and one time I went to a seminar on hypnosis. And I had actually hypnotised someone back in primary school, but I put it aside and thought, oh, that didn't really work, did it? But then I went along to this seminar, and the teacher, Igor Ledachowski, who's very strong on conversational hypnosis, he invited someone from the audience who couldn't speak in front of, in public. And he just had the person here, spoke to the person for a little bit, and lo and behold, the person then got up and read her poetry. You might actually have heard of this person. It's Liz McNamara, who now runs her hypnosis clinic down in Woy Woy. She and I both started our hypnosis careers at the same time, and she sometimes advertises in the over 50s radio station. So I thought, wow, if that can happen and you can help people so quickly, that's what I've got to do. And so I jumped into hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and that's where I've been for the last 6 years. So personally, I ended up marrying a Korean instead of a Japanese. Travelling through Korea, met this lady, and we have 2 kids now, 15 and 18 years old. And my son's just got into engineering, and my daughter's at Gosford Public School. I spend a lot of my time outside of hypnotherapy going to representative basketball games, because that takes up a lot of my daughter's energy as well. So, that's a bit about me. What is a clinical hypnotherapist? And I invite you to think about, as I speak, think about what you might get out of clinical hypnotherapy. Think about any problems you have, and I may be able to address some of that towards the end of the talk. So, a clinical hypnotherapist. So, hypnotherapy is just being able to talk to someone and communicate with their subconscious, have focused attention. In fact, everyone here has got focused attention at the moment, except Tony, who's looking at his phone there. So you could say that everyone here is hypnotised. In fact, hypnosis is everywhere. Everyone in sales uses hypnosis. You know that yes set that you keep hearing about in sales. It's really a way of getting the mind focused on saying yes. And then you hit them with the question, sign here. Oh yeah, of course. In the clinical hypnotherapy world, the strict definition of hypnotic induction is getting someone to close their eyes. But even closing your eyes is not necessary, as you can probably imagine, because we're often hypnotised by the television, aren't we? Stare at the television, sends images at us, mostly directed at our subconscious mind, trying to get us to associate the product, the new car, with all the glamorous images that they're sending at us. So hypnotherapists, so anyone can call themselves a hypnotherapist, unfortunately. So what you need to do is look for someone who is in an association, and therefore, if it's in one of the two big associations, the AHA or the ASCH, they're going to meet certain requirements. They're going to be insured. They're going to have a certain amount of experience. They're going to be qualified. Unfortunately, the level of qualification is still fairly low. You can still get into a course with a diploma that isn't even accredited. It's just got to be about a week or two long. Although they're starting to tighten that up so that you need to have a government accreditation at least to the diploma level. So I have an advanced diploma in clinical hypnotherapy, which is as far as you can go in the pure clinical hypnotherapy discipline. And all of us are supervised within the associations. So every month I have an hour with someone who checks on me and makes sure that I'm on track. So that's why you need to see someone from an association. So what is clinical hypnotherapy? So clinical, that doesn't really mean much. Hypno, from the Greek sleep or dream, is about the state, the hypnotic state. And then there's therapy, which is done in that state. So hypnosis. So is it sleep? No, it isn't sleep. It's just a state of focused attention where ideas can get into your subconscious. There are three states where that can happen very effectively. One is when you're emotional, and if someone tells you something nasty when you're in an emotional state, it can stick very easily. When you're shocked, as in post-traumatic stress disorder, when someone's exposed to a few bombs, nothing necessarily has happened to them physically, but they come back from that traumatised. So what's happened is that something shifted in their subconscious, so that perhaps next time they hear a loud noise, they're diving under the table. So that's actually a hypnosis or a hypnotic state that they've put themselves in. So emotion, shock, and relaxation is the other technique. So, and that's what we use in the therapy room, obviously. We get people very relaxed so that then ideas can go into their subconscious. Now, when you're sitting in a hypnosis chair and you're very relaxed and you're given suggestions, you can accept those suggestions, or you don't necessarily have to accept them. You can choose to not accept them. That's up to you. So it's not a matter of control or anything like that. So we give people suggestions, and if they take them on, that's great. So that's hypnosis. It's giving those suggestions and the person willingly taking on those suggestions. It's a bit like what people do when they pray. They put themselves into a state and they give themselves suggestions or ask themselves questions which help go into things a little bit more deeply and to find answers. And those answers either come from within or from God, it doesn't really matter. But the answers come. So, what's the difference? Meditation, prayer, yoga. Some people will do yoga and the yoga where you lie down and relax, and the person will give you suggestions. It's all pretty much the same thing. The difference is that with clinical hypnotherapy, you've got someone trained to give you suggestions that are going to help your particular situation. So I've been talking about hypnosis. So within hypnosis, you can give suggestions. Okay, great. This is an example of arm catalepsy, which is a typical thing that we'll use at the beginning of a hypnotic routine. And she actually has control over that. She can let it drop or do anything. But I could ask her subconscious to take control of her hand and move the hand. And then we'll see what happens, because the subconscious tends to do things in a little bit of a jerky way. We'd ask the subconscious to take control of the fingers and give us a few finger signals. And we'd probably see that. Although she's probably trying, oh, there it is. Even though she's trying not to do it. All right, so just let your arm relax. There go there. Great. Okay, you're all right. Thank you very much. And that's the thing with hypnosis. You can be in a state of high suggestibility without knowing it. And often we leave things deliberately vague in hypnosis so that the person can take on what they want to take on. So she wants self-improvement. I don't necessarily need to know what that is. Okay. So let me see what we'll do. Okay.
Alan, can you speak up a little bit?
Sure. All right. So can I just get you to touch your hands together like that? Okay. Really push palms together. Okay, now bend your elbows like so. And I'm just going to turn around for a moment. Your fingers up like that, about an inch apart. And just focus on the gap right there. Just focus there. Focus, focus, focus. So when they touch, you just close your eyes and relax. That's it. And you can relax the hands down. That's it. Very good. Now you're focused and relaxed. And you can just allow that relaxation to continue to get deeper and deeper. And there might be some area in which you'd like to improve yourself, become better at something. And I won't ask you what it is, but just think about what that is. And now imagine that you can do it better. Because you can do it better. And when you do it better, you'll get better results. With better results, you'll make progress. And when you make progress, you'll feel better about it, which will probably enable you to be relaxed about it and do it better even still. Okay, I'll count to three. We count to three. Just come back to the room. 1, 2, 3. Back to the room. All right, you're done. Well done. Okay, so that was just straight suggestions. Giving I made a little cycle there. So the suggestions feed on themselves to make her more successful at whatever she was thinking about. I think I've pretty much covered hypnosis. The next bit is the therapy. It's hypnotherapy. And just giving people suggestions is like putting in something else in their head, another voice saying to them, you're going to be successful, you're going to be successful. And as hypnotherapists, I don't really like to do that. I'd prefer to resolve things within them that's stopping them from achieving. Because we've all been hypnotised so many times in our life by past events that if we can clear those past events, then we can move forward. And this is where meditation and yoga and even apps you download and prayer sometimes fall down. Is because to resolve things, people need to sometimes explore uncomfortable areas. And we're naturally resistant to exploring uncomfortable areas. we might know that we've been abused in the past, but we don't want to go there. We don't want to think about it. We know we might have grief, and every time we even think of our person that's passed away, we get upset, so we try to avoid that. And sometimes we take drugs, or sometimes we just try to be happy, but we avoid it. And that's where therapy can help, because we can see how people are thinking, figure out how people are thinking, sometimes at a subconscious level, and start to interrupt the patterns of thinking that people have. So, I don't know, maybe we need another volunteer. Emma looked away very quickly. Come on out, John. Would you like to come on? Yeah. Have a seat, John. Thank you. Okay, so hands together, clasp together out there. That's it. Behind maybe. Okay. Focus on the knuckle. Focus. Okay. Good focus. String focus. Just on the nothing really. Okay. And in a moment I'm going to push down that thing. Just throw this back up. When I do, just throw this up there. Okay. Now I want you to look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. And sleep. Go down deeper, deeper, deeper. That's it. Deeper, deeper, deeper. Really nice. Really nice. Really nice. Okay, I'm just going to blow your hand. So when I drop that, just go even deeper. 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 Slowly softly deeper and deeper. As your eyes deeper and deeper, you'll feel better and better. Because the deeper you go, the better it feels, and the better it feels, the deeper you go. Yeah, let's relax. So, the deeper you go, I'll count down from 3 to 0, and we'll get to 0. Let's go all the way. 3, double relaxation, 2, deeper in 1, deepest, 0. There we go. So we're going to do a little bit of therapy now. And for some reason I suspect that you'd like to be more confident speaking up in public. To be able to just feel free when you're speaking. So I'd like you just to think of speaking in public and just consider what that's like for you. Consider any blocks that might be stopping you from speaking in public. And let's speak to that part, because that part's got its reasons for being there. It wants you to feel confident, or it wants you to feel safe, perhaps, by taking you out of the situation. But I'm wondering if that part could have a new way of doing things, a way that will enable you to be really confident in front of a group. And if that part could have a new way of doing things, which would enable you to be really confident speaking in front of a large group, how would it do that? So I'm just going to get your hand up again here. Just hold that there, that's it. That's it. And in a moment, I'll just get your subconscious to find the solution for you that's going to enable you to be really confident in front of a group. And when you have got that answer, that hand can just fall down to the side of your body. And I might talk elsewhere, and just allow your subconscious to work on that for a bit. That's it. Great. And so allow that answer to integrate for a moment. Take a nice deep breath. And then slowly come back to the room. That's it. Good. You stand up. Well done. Okay, so you've seen a little bit of hypnosis, a little bit of therapy, you've heard a bit about me. What do I offer? So I offer hypnotherapy for all kinds of things, for smoking, for anxiety, for weight loss, for grief, for phobias, and pretty much anything where changing your thinking, feeling, or behaviours would be done through changing your mental states. As well as doing one-on-one sessions, I also have an accountability program where I just have a conversation with you every couple of weeks to keep you on track. Obviously, that's just over the phone, it's quite cheap, and for 3 months, 500, or let's make it 400 today. Accountability program where I not only remind you of what your goals are, but help to remove the blocks that are stopping you from achieving those goals.